1, 2, 7, 12, red donkey.
When the kids are counting sheep.
If you like licorice, raise your arm.
No.
When the kids go to sleep, dreams.
If you like chocolate, raise your hand.
Memories. When
like-
the kids go to sleep.
Shay just punched me in the face.
What's new? What's new?
Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Welcome, welcome. That was pretty close.
That was super close.
Because I am
How you would regret if you
ninja.
really broke my nose.
Yeah. It won't be the first time.
You're such a bug.
Remember when Suntard broke your nose? We
Raise
thought.
your hand if you're...
It tickles.
All right.
Welcome to the podcast.
Ticklin and giggling here.
Ticklin and giggling. Sounds like what we did last. Anyways, right here at Maker Studios in Los Angeles, California. We're doing some tickling and giggling. On the podcast, we are excited to be with you again. It is September 5th. But when we're recording this, it's not. Oh, it's not real life. So it's sometimes fun to think about the future.
Yes,
And traveling in the future. So we are 5 days into September Shayloss-tember. Hopefully we've come up with an official name by now. Shay in the future, you have better come up with a hashtag. Some of you have been tweeting me a very smart thing that we need to have a hashtag that goes along with the month so that everybody can follow people's progress. I'm pumped about this.
Mm-hmm.
This is before the month has started, so maybe when this comes out, I will be hating it. But I'm excited, man. I am.
No, you'll be loving it.
Yeah, it's because that's all I've always been. I always loved like setting like those, okay, this is the time frame, and it's like during that time we're going to hit it hard. And I feel like a lot of people are going to be involved. I'm really excited to see, because I've already been watching a ton of your video responses and people's goals. They've been tweeting me like on their, desks or their chalkboards or their little sticky notes by their computers, all their goals. And it's awesome to see, you guys introspectively looking into yourselves to make those goals. What was I saw? I saw one on Twitter today that I thought was really good. One was like, hang out with my mom more, just like you can tell like they're trying to strengthen their relationship or whatever. Okay, so today we're going to talk about a little continuation of what we talked about. Is this one going up before the Terry Crews one or after? After? Wasn't those Terry Crews podcasts awesome? I don't know, because we haven't done them yet. Terry Crews is coming in at noon. So I hope we did okay, because those are already up.
And we apologize if we didn't, but I'm sure we did.
I hope we did. I'm nervous. I'm nervous. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. He's like a big star, literally and figuratively. The dude has got some guns, man. He's huge, and I'm excited to meet him. Maybe we should have a push-up contest. We probably
Maybe
won't.
we already did.
Yeah, I don't
good
know.
job, honey.
Did I do
such a
good?
great job in that push-up contest.
He would murder me with his pecs. He'd just put my head in between his pecs and be like, and squish my head.
That's a weird visual.
Let me do that to you.
No!
Squish my head between your pecs. Come on.
ShayCarl, I am so sorry once again.
I apologize.
So sorry.
Promise tickling and giggling, and you're not delivering. Okay, so what were we talking about today?
We're talking about be yourself and don't care what other people think.
Okay, so there's a great quote by a doctor who you've all been to. His name's Dr. Seuss. He's written a lot of children's books. If you don't know who Dr. Seuss is, maybe you just can't read. He says, be who you... Wait, that was... Where did it go? Be who you... Oh, yeah. Be who you are and say what you feel, because those who mind don't matter, and those who matter don't mind.
Yeah.
Right?
It's so true.
The ones that, you've heard that saying all your life, just be yourself. And there's a fine line to that, because sometimes we have these bad urges, I just like to punch people in the face. Should I just be myself? But I feel like sometimes people
be your best self.
Yeah,
that's all. If that's the best you got, you need to work on it.
Wanting to punch people?
Yeah, don't punch people. That's rude.
We had this podcast a couple podcasts ago where we talked about your funeral, about things you can learn from your own funeral, and how you go through your whole life worrying about what others might think of you. You want to fit in. I've heard that a lot. I feel like it's kind of been a theme, talking to people, just in general. People are just always like, I wanted just to fit in. I don't want to stand out and be unique, which I always think is weird. I think because kids are afraid of being, pointed out like, oh, you're weird, because like a lot of kids just want to like fit in and not stick out. But I don't think that's the way you should think. I feel like you should try to be unique. I feel like you should try to stand out and be different, but be yourself. And it's easier said than done. You know what I mean? It's human nature to want to fit in and to have,
It's the rejection you don't want. It's always that feeling like, oh, they're going to reject me if they're not going to like me if I'm myself, which isn't true, because there will be some that won't. But those are the ones that don't matter.
Right. I heard there's a scientific study done, where it's just a fact that 25% of the people you meet just won't like you, no matter what.
25% of the people you meet won't like you?
25% will possibly like you and can be coerced into liking you. And then there's another percentage or something that will like you and support you no matter what. So there's those people in your life that like aren't going to accept you no matter what. I was listening to, me and Colette just recently started listening to Joel Osteen. He's an evangelical preacher from Houston, Texas. He preaches at a church called Westlake. What is it?
Lakeside?
Lakeside?
I don't know.
Some of you know Joel Osteen. He's like the really handsome devil. He's on TV. He has like his hair. Put up a picture. Whoever's editing this. I don't know if it's Blake or Denise. But he's a handsome guy, but that guy's got some legit stuff to say. I really dig his stuff. But he was talking about, on my runs recently, I listened to him because he really motivates you. Like, if you want a little tip on feeling motivated and feeling good about yourself and feeling optimistic, download some Joel Osteen material, my friends. He has a book that I just bought called Every Day a Friday, where he talks about it's scientifically proven that most Americans are angry on a Monday and they're like 50% happier on a Friday just because it's the weekend. So this book is titled Every Day a Friday. Every day, live every day like it's Friday, Friday. Don't sing that song.
Oh.
And
I thought I put my mouth on the microphone.
but it was my finger.
You're such a bugger. Wave your hand. You're a bugger.
How do you get that? How do you get that happy feeling every day? Because it's tough to feel that happy feeling every day. Anyways, he was telling a story about how there was this. He didn't say who the couple was, but when he was, I don't know where or when, but there was this couple that he was just wanted to be friends with. He was impressed by them, and he was always trying to go above and beyond, out of his way to do nice things for them, to talk to them and invite them over for dinner. And he said they were always just kind of like cool towards him. They were never very friendly and just always kind of like, give him the shoulder kind of. And he was trying so hard to be friends with these people. And then he said eventually they moved out of the city that he was living in, and they moved away. And that he even like helped get them, people to come over to help them move, to load up all their things to move. And then he said a few years later, he had heard from some other people that they were talking bad about him after they had left. And he was just like, why are they talking bad about me? I was trying to go out of my way above and beyond to like be nice to them so they'd like me. And then they still were like mean to me. And he said that was just part of those 25% of people who just won't like you for whatever reason it is. But to not get caught up on that, to not, stress out about that, people not liking you, because that's just going to happen in general.
I feel like, and that's something doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you. It's just that thing inside of that person that makes them not like you. And they're missing a huge opportunity by not liking you, right?
Because you are great. You are grand.
Wonderful.
You're wonderful. And if they don't,
beautiful,
they're just missing out. So let's go. Our producer, Maria, look at this. Arthur, can you see this in the frame? Pan over a little bit. Just for a little bit. We're making Arthur do some work. Check it out.
To show everybody how official we are.
High tech. We got a TV screen, and Maria has a computer in there. So now we'll see your tweetsters. So Christy Bailey asks WTKGTS, ShayCarl, Katie, how do you ignore the haters / trolls? I find it hard to even comment on videos now for fear of being trolled. It is. It's something that we've kind of had to learn over the years, because people say things, and certain things that people say, I'm just like, oh, you would be surprised at how many times I have typed out a long reply comment to some haters and trolls.
Delete.
And then I'm just like, wanting to hit send, and I'm just like, and it just like I'm steaming, Pete, and I'm like typing, oh yeah, and what about, and then I'm like, oh, should I hit send? I don't know because I know if I hit send on that comment, then it's just like gonna open the floodgates of like.
Yeah.
So there probably, I don't know, 1,000 times in our YouTube career where I've typed and I've replied to comments, but I never send them. I just, I'm like, I'm not going to send that.
Because if you send them, it's just you're stooping to their level and you're allowing them to seep in, and you don't want that. You got to be like a duck. You let the water just roll off your back. It doesn't matter. And it's hard because every day it's different. Like some days it's just like, oh, that's a dumb comment. You just go move past it. And some days it's like you read it and it's like, what? Why would they say that? And then you just want to jump in. But every time, if you just resist the urge, then it doesn't even affect you anymore. Just realize.
Here's one thing that I found that has actually helped me not reply to the hater comments and those things, is I realize that it's just a self-projection on how that person is feeling.
Right.
It's a lot of times it's not anything about us even. It's a comment to us, directed at us, but it's really more about an inner thing that person's going through. Like, for instance, we learned, in reading that book, The Slight Edge, where you tell people your goals and what you're excited about to achieve and to do something greater, and you get all this hate from other people, like, you're not going to do that, you can never do that. Why? Specifically for me, like, I miss the old Shay, and I had that, like, light bulb moment that flashed over my head, like, that's why people don't like me anymore, or like miss the old Shay, because it gave them an excuse. It gave them hope that they didn't have to try and that they could have a good life too, because they saw this guy who was obviously overweight and I wasn't exercising and I was eating whatever I wanted and I was a giant chubbalard. I really was, because I was not trying at all. I wasn't exercising. I was eating whatever I wanted. I was sleeping in, and it seemed like I had this great life. I had this beautiful wife, these wonderful children. I had this dream job, and it was like I wasn't even trying. And so I feel like it gave people hope, like, oh, I can do nothing too and have all this. Where really, that's not how I got this beautiful wife and these wonderful children. I had worked hard to convince Colette to marry me. It took me a year of me being the best person I could to get her to agree to marry me. And then, it took a lot of work to become, a big YouTuber. And then it's like I kind of like just let myself go because I got in this comfort area. And that's kind of when we blew up. And it was this funny sociology where it's like, oh, check it out. It's like a real life King of Queens, or like one of those shows where it's like the big fat funny guy gets the cute girl. Well, a lot of times, cute girls don't want to marry fat dudes, no matter how funny you are.
So you're saying I wouldn't have fallen in love with you if
I don't think you would have. If I was that big, I think you, because you would have wanted something better for yourself. Let's be honest. Personality and sense of humor, those are great. But you don't want to have to wake up every morning and roll over and be like, tell me a joke. You know what I mean? You got to be attractive. You have to be sexually attractive. If we're going to be tickling and giggling,
well,
you got to have a little attraction.
Me, no matter what.
It's because I wasn't 280 pounds when we got married.
But you were still attractive to me then.
You're always been hot, though.
You still had a strong...
Well, right, okay, but don't get me wrong. I'm just trying to explain, like, yes, all those things matter. Personality and sense of humor, all that stuff matters. But I feel like people, that's when, like, our videos blew up, when they were getting, like, 500, 600,000 views every single day. Plus, YouTube was newer. There wasn't as many people on the site. But then once I lost all that weight and people saw me working so hard to lose all that weight, it reminded them that, oh, they have to work hard in life too. And people are afraid of work. People are afraid of change. It scares people to have to go above and beyond themselves. And so then the natural thing is to be like, you've changed, Shay. You're not funny anymore. And to kind of like that fear that they have in themselves of like, I don't want to have to change. I don't want to have to go through all that work that he's going through. And it reminded them, and that's what it said in that book, The Slight Edge, is that when you tell people your goals and your ambitions, it reminds them of their lack of dreams. And so then they reflect on you. And even like, when we're selling a new Volcom shirt or something like that, right, people will be like, this is stupid. You're such a sellout now. And a lot of times, like, as I because I'll click on those people's profiles or something, I realize maybe they just can't afford to buy one of those shirts right now, which is the reason why they're commenting, like, you're such a sellout. They want to buy a shirt, they just can't afford it. And so,
or maybe things are, are not going good in their lives, and they
or
can
whatever,
see that
yeah,
it's going good in ours, so they feel that, like, oh, That sucks.
Now, not everything is great in
Yeah.
our life. Like, we woke up this morning and we had one of those mornings this morning where it's
We
like
did.
we didn't have footage for the vlog, and that was stressful.
And we didn't get enough sleep.
We didn't
and
get
that
enough
was
sleep because we
stressful.
stayed up late because the kitchen was a giant mess. And it's just those little things. Like, life is hard for everybody. Everybody has to go through those challenges. But the sooner that you realize that, you're no different than anybody else. You have a hard life, so does everybody else. You just have to overcome those things, man. You have to be able, whatever you do, whatever tricks you use, whether it's good music. You know what I think, honestly, like in the mornings when I feel like having that big sheet over our window is bad for me.
Oh, yeah, you need light.
Yeah, because
I'm a
light,
very, very light
like the
driven
sun
person.
helps you, I think, wake up. And when I was shooting that running video for the September Shay loss, I was getting up at like 3 in the morning to go shoot the video, and then I'd come home at like 8 in the morning, and then the sun was blaring through, and I needed to get us some sleep because I'd gotten up at 3. So I went and I hammered up this sheet over the window, and it's still up there. I feel like I should take it down.
Go
It's
take
like,
it down. Take the sheet off your window, guys.
yeah, take the sheet off your
Don't
window.
let it drive you
Anyways,
down.
so that's one thing, Christy, that we do to overcome those bad negative comments is realize that a lot of times those negative comments are just coming from something that's happening within that person. And instead of being like mad at those comments or wanting to fight back, I just feel like almost like you want to pray for that person, almost like you feel bad for that person, or it's like not like pity, but it's just like, oh man, they must be going through something hard right now. And that's why they said that. And I feel like, a lot of you who try to protect us in the comments, you're doing it out of good in your hearts because you want to like protect us. But you got to know that doesn't hurt us. Those negative
Yeah.
comments, they don't drag us down. Like, we can rise above. And I feel like the best thing that you guys could do is to comment back to that person and say, man, I hope you're having a good day. Just feed positive, fight negativity
Right.
with positivity. Okay, let's go to Brand. He asks, this is a serious question for Shay. Were you ever called gay in school? It's a common problem with guys. That's been a thing where, it used to be like, "Ugh, that's gay."
Yeah.
Logan says it a lot. It's just like kind of in the syntax of like American teenagers.
Yeah, I don't think they realize, like, it's just one of those phrases that you don't really think about when you say it.
I don't think they necessarily mean like, oh, that's bad because, you're attracted to the same sex. It's just kind of like, that's lame, or like, you're gay. I don't think I was ever called gay in school, but that is a hurtful thing. I know that like bullying and a lot of, teen suicides and stuff are happening because of a lot of these kids who are feeling, no self-worth because they're being bullied at school. That's a very serious issue that we need to change, whether it be through programs or whatever, encouraging people not to bully each other. But I feel like helping the individual who's having that negative energy put on them, helping them to realize that they're great in the sight of God and in the sight of many other people. Maybe they're, being bullied and being told, you just have to have this self-worth. You have to build it. Maybe it starts with a little bit of a seed. Maybe you just hear me say, you're worth it. You are a good person. You can become anything you want to become. Just take that little seed and just start to like build on it, by reading books or whatever it is. You just have to realize that you are in charge of what happens in your life. And you might have all this stuff that's like raining in on you.
You have to put a deflector shield on. Just let it bounce off of you, especially with things like that. I mean, where's that one? Okay. Sarah Van Arkel said, my mom would say, consider the source. Are the words being said by someone who you respect or trust? If not, it doesn't matter.
Right.
Like, think about who's saying that to you and why they're saying it. It's like, really, I'm gay? Like, that's really offensive. It doesn't reflect on who you are by the words that people say. That does not reflect you at all. It's just people projecting negativity because of their own self-doubts and self-worthlessness.
Right.
So
People are projecting their fears and stuff on you. We just went and saw
Right.
Paranorman. And that was the gist of that whole movie, is that the gist of the movie, without ruining it for you, is that can we say that? It's just the Salem witch trials is kind of what it was about, or about the witch trials back in the day where, a lot of these teenage girls were sentenced to death because a lot of, they were just like messing around. I don't know the total history on it, but
it's like just not being able to accept something that's different.
They were afraid. These
Protestant
ministers or whatever were afraid of these girls, and so they put them to death. You know what I mean? That's like the ultimate form of bullying.
Yeah.
You could say that, like, I'm being called gay at school, but at least you weren't hanged. There's
It's
that.
like not being able to understand something causes fear in people. They don't understand, the way that you are and why you are the way you are, then they don't like you. And it's human nature. It's ridiculous, really, when you think about it. But it is human nature.
See,
and so you have to realize that's
yeah.
what's going on and let it roll off your back, because in a couple of years when you're out of that school, it's not even going to matter one little bit.
Go up to, Maria, go up to this E. Cummings, scroll up a little bit. I really like this. Emerson, Ralph Waldo Emerson says, to be yourself in a world that is constantly trying to make you something else is the greatest accomplishment. People are always trying to, force their agenda on you and trying to tell you who you are. Just become who you want to become. And create, like I said, there's a quote in that video. Funny thing about that running video, if you've seen it, one of the quotes is, you don't find out who you are, you create who you are.
Yeah.
We thought of that quote sitting in the parking lot of the What's Trending. When we were going on with Shira Lazar, Blake was editing the video, and he's like, I need 2 more quotes. And the gist of it is, you can become whatever you want to become. When maybe you feel like you were born into this world under bad circumstances, or like even just like, olden times where you were born as your dad is a tailor, and so that means that you have to grow up to be a tailor. Like those segment, like what was it called? Like if your dad was a farmer, you were a farmer. If you grew up, you had to grow up and be whatever you were born into. That's not true. You can become whatever you want. That's the great thing. Just imagine in your mind, your imagination can go as far as you want. What do you want to be in this world? Do you want to be a picked on person who's always a victim and always like letting what other people say affect you and create who you are? Or do you want to decide what you will be? That is, if anything, if that's a little seed that I can plant in you right now, is just take this little seed. Here, grab it. Take it. Take it. It's a little seed. Just take it. You can become anything you want. And the sooner you realize that outside influences of people telling you you can't, you don't need those things. Those are trying to kill your seed. Take that little seed and believe, have a hope, at least hope that you can believe in what I'm saying, that you can become anything you want. And then set about becoming that person, becoming great. Whatever it is, take those little steps. Don't be a victim. Don't be a victim of your circumstances. Take charge of your own life and make it happen.
Yep. And we're here with you. We'll keep being here.
Says 5 minutes till Terry Crews is here. He's parking.
It's time.
I'm nervous. What if he thinks I'm a bad person?
Well, he probably will. I mean, you'll just have to believe him and not try anymore.
Let
it roll off. Roll off your back, guys.
Let it roll off. All right, so we're going to wrap it up here because we want to get ready for Terry Crews coming in. Thank you guys for watching the podcast, downloading it below. And we're just here to encourage you.
Yep. We'll just keep coming back.
Hopefully you feel happy, and it's a two-way street. I hope you realize, like, we're not experts on this. Like, we are learning as we go. Like, we're just, we're still young.
Yep.
How old are you now? 48?
I'm 75.
We're still learning this as we go. So these kind of conversations help us as well. It helps us to overcome the haters and all that kind of stuff. So we appreciate your comments, and those of you who get what we're trying to do and trying to help and to lift. Let's lift each other. Help, love. Come on. Come here.
Thank you.
I had a dream about Malachi last night. It was weird. I think because I saw Paranorman, he was like a spirit dog, and like I was like, I think Maria, you were there. Like my whole like team was there,
and you were there,
and you were there, and you were there. Wizard of the Oz. But Malachi came running, and Blake, my cameraman and editor, he was sitting in this chair, and Malachi ran right through Blake. Like he was a spirit, and he ran through Blake.
Crazy.
And then it was like, but then I could touch Malachi, and we were like cuddling, and I was like,
dream.
oh, you know why? Because I saw a black Great Dane on my run the other day who looked just like Malachi, and I was running, and the Great Dane, this couple was walking their black Great Dane this way, coming in the opposite direction, and right as I saw him, I go, oh, you puppy, like as I was running, and the dude looked at me like, why are you talking to my dog like that? But I was so like, funny. Oh, Malachi. Anyways, so I had I had a Malachi dream. All right. Download it. Links free. iTunes. Love you. We'll see you next time on the podcast from Maker Studios in Los Angeles, California. I love your faces.
It's mine.
Feed your seed. Make that seed grow. You can do it. When the kids go to sleep. We haven't been singing lately. We got to sing. Sing it. 1, 2, 3.
When the kids go to sleep.
Yeah, she's a good singer. All right, see you guys.
Raise your hand if you're a bugger.